Okay, team, we just heard that theories of action are works in progress. A couple of things to keep in mind is that good theories of action need to be aligned to the instructional core and need to be detailed.
Well, before I use the checklist to further help me develop my theory of action, I really need to review the one I wrote in June.
Why don't you read it to us, LaDawn?
Okay, so I wrote, if we focus on rigor in math, then teachers will have a better understanding of grade level standards and more students will be on grade level. So I still agree with this big idea. I just don't think it has enough detail.
Well then how about if we go through the checklist?
Okay, I'll start. Number 1, LaDawn, is your theory of action aligned to the instructional core?
Before you answer, keep in mind that in order to answer yes, you have to be able to name what the look-fors are in the classroom.
Well, based on that, I have a good start, but I'll have to answer no, and I'll have to further develop my theory of action because I don't have the classroom look-fors.
So you know that's an area you need to further develop. Mark it no, and then let's keep going.
Okay, number 2, is it broad enough to have widespread impact on the majority of your students? And if it doesn't, then you need to revise it. If it does, who are they and how many?
So I can actually answer yes to this one. It's broad enough because it's going to impact all of our K-5 students and everyone that teaches math. That's about 250 students and 30 teachers.
All right, let's move on to number 3. Can you prove your theory of action is working? If no, we'll come back and revise. To be able to mark yes, do you know what you will measure your theory of action with?
You know, that's a good question, and I'm not really sure how we're going to measure it if it's working. So that's something I'm going to have to come back to. For now, I need to mark a no.
All right, number 4. Does it contain at least 3 if statements?
So remind me what if statements are again?
Sure. I like to think about if statements as the details. So start at the beginning. If your goal is to ensure rigor in math, where do you need to start? What's your first if?
Okay, so I'm thinking if we shift from traditional math professional development and leverage our senior team leads to co-plan and co-teach mathematics at grade level,
And
if we define what students need to know and be able to do to meet the standard, and if we then compare the tasks to upcoming unit and interim assessments.
Great start. Keep going because you're still not actually in the classroom.
You're right, I'm not actually in the classroom yet, so let me think. So if our observation and feedback is all focused on math rigor and teaching practices, and if we always bring student work to the feedback meetings,
then what will be your final outcome?
then teachers will have a better understanding of grade level standards and the teaching practices that ensure student achievement and will meet or exceed our math targets.
Okay, let's look at the if statements you wrote. How are you feeling about these?
Well, based on the, compared to my initial theory of action, I feel like I now have enough detail to provide action steps I can put in place and monitor to make sure that we're on track to meet our goals. So, looking back, I do feel better, but there are still a few no's to work through. So, I think, team, we need to get started.
Wait, not yet, LaDawn. There's one more question. Is your theory of action evident in your 90-day plan?
No. I haven't even had time to think about that yet, so I'm going to mark that no as well.